To learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. There she is. I've wanted to do a picture like this ever since I saw my first wintertime off-grid video. Big snow, little house, there it is right there. I guess we've been living in that for a month now. It's just perfectly comfortable. I hear that a lot of people in this country are not perfectly comfortable today. Before I get started though, this morning I woke up and I was on the computer for a little bit doing some work. I was up at 4:30, so I don't know what time it was, 5:30. And all of a sudden I lost electric. To understand this, being in a house is kind of different for us. We've been living in the camper for 4 years. And so all our power equipment has been in the camper. So if we lost electric, immediately we knew why we lost electric. Well, I'm sitting up there just enjoying the computer and doing my thing, and I lost electric. I'm like, oh my goodness, the power It was kind of that feeling. Of course, immediately I realized I must have had a problem down here. So what it is this cold weather, we got down to -9 degrees last night. The batteries, any battery, it doesn't matter what kind of battery you got. Lead acid batteries is what I have. And yes, I know you're supposed to get lithium ion batteries, but if I had lithium ion batteries, I wouldn't be able to use them at all because they freeze. And if you try to charge them, they catch on fire. So, well, I learned this morning, I started looking things up, trying to understand the effects of cold weather on battery. And at 32 degrees Fahrenheit, your battery loses 30% of its power. And at 0, it loses 60% of its power. Now I got, what, 4 or 5, I don't remember. I think 5 deep cycle batteries. RV, marine batteries. And normally, I mean, there's plenty of power to run the little bit we run. Small apartment-sized refrigerator, Microsoft Office tablet, and charger phones. You know, very little electric do we use. We have 1,000 watts of solar panels. The problem is the solar panels have been a real struggle. It's been so cloudy. Yesterday it snowed all day, and I kept coming down here sweeping them off, but the snow was blocking any sunlight. So they never even kicked on. I never got enough volts to kick them on, which is okay because I have a backup generator. And the generator's been doing fantastic. And so I've been using it to charge the batteries. My batteries are charged with a car battery charger. Buy them at Walmart. And so the generator kicks on the battery charger, and the battery charger charges the batteries. Now, the same concept works for solar panels. Instead of having the battery charger and the generator, the solar panels just act like the battery charger. So they go through what's called a MPPT charge controller, and then it just charges the batteries. But today, we're gonna get lots of charge today because it's a nice sunny day. I'm actually having a problem with the sun washing out the video here, and the reflection of the snow. When you get reflection of the snow, oh, it really supercharges things up. Now, this video is going to go out today. I'm making it today and it's going to go out today. Normally I make a video, it sits around for a few days, and then I release it. So your videos are always a few days old before you get it. But this one is important. I'm not a prepper, and I've said this so many times. I just live this lifestyle. It's just what I am. And so for whatever catastrophe I have facing me, it seems to me that I don't even notice the catastrophe. And so we've had a catastrophe again this year. Last year, you know, we had the pandemic. We were all locked down. It didn't bother me at all. I was building a tiny house and living great and everything was fine. Yesterday, Carolyn was on Facebook. She's scrolling around. She says, wow, Missouri's shutting down electric grids. They're having these rolling blackouts. So I started looking into it. What has happened is Missouri doesn't have enough natural gas to run the power stations. Apparently, natural gas wells have frozen up in Oklahoma and I don't know, maybe Texas. It doesn't matter, but definitely Oklahoma, where they pump this stuff. They can't pump anymore. So Missouri's not getting natural gas. So they're having to shut down portions of the grid here in western Missouri, southwestern Missouri. This is really serious if you think about it. Here we are, -9 degrees. They're telling you you can't use your natural gas to heat your house, or you got to limit how much natural gas you got. And then they're going to shut off your electric at -9 degrees. So even if you do use natural gas for a half an hour to an hour or whatever the blackout's going to be. So your furnace won't run anyways. So I really started investigating what's happening. I think I see deer tracks here. Right here. I bet that's deer. So I was out watching a video of another guy. He's down in Oklahoma, and he said the same thing. They're doing rolling blackouts, and so he's preparing. I mean, he's set up for it like I am. He just kind of, lives the life. Now, I remember, I think it was last year, California is having a bunch of problems with their electrical grid. And so they're doing rolling blackouts. In the middle of summer when it's, 1,000 degrees outside, you can't have air conditioning. Later that night, I was watching a cable news program on YouTube, and you only get to watch 4 or 5 minutes of a video and then it's over. So I don't have all the information. But down in Texas, people are dying from this winter storm. What it is they have these windmill generators, and it got so cold down in Texas that these wind generators have frozen up and there's no power. So like Houston, Texas ran out of power. And what the guy said was it's like starving to death in the grocery store. You have to want to starve to death. You're doing it on purpose. And it's interesting because Texas does have, all the natural resources it could ever want. Natural gas and oil, and they can make electricity just by snapping their fingers. And here we are, we got people dying in Texas because of the cold weather. Wow, how is this possible? And I feel terrible for them. What they're doing, and this is just human nature, when you're cold, you do what you can to stay warm. You got families. And so they're doing really, silly things, running generators in the house, or they're getting out in the car and they're starting the car and the snow backs up under the exhaust or something, and they get carbon monoxide poisoning. Again, I don't have all the information. I'm having to speculate some things, but this is my guess. I've heard it, time and time again. This is what people do when they're cold. I live off-grid just for the freedom of not having to deal with society's things. And here's a perfect example. They shut down the grid. And so you're dependent on someone to take care of you. You're dependent on the power company to take care of you. I recognize you pay a bill, but they decided just for the heck of it that they're not going to give you what you pay for. I want to throw some things out at you so you will be better prepared when this happens again. When it's something, devastating like, really? No way. So I was telling you, solar panels and inverters and generators, you got to have all that, right? Well, yeah, you're going to want to build up infrastructure is what I'm trying to say. I don't ever tell anybody how to spend their money. But if you can buy a thing or two here or there and put it together, it doesn't have to be fancy. But the first thing you're going to want to focus on, most importantly, is heat. I used to talk about this. People say, well, go to Arizona or Texas or Florida. They never have these problems. Well, here we are. Texas is freezing to death. So yeah, Texas is having problems also. Florida, you got hurricanes. Well, heck, Texas, you got hurricanes too. And when I talk about heat, the first thing you want to think about is, wow, wood heat. Can I get wood heat? And yeah, that's an option. Wood heat is an option. But if you live in the city, it's going to be hard to get wood. You would have to buy it and stockpile it. It's the only thing I would suggest. But yeah, wood heat would be my first choice. And that's what we're heating with. It's our only heating option right now. Well, I mean, we could heat with the Coleman stove. With our tiny house being so small, we could do that. But you could also go and buy yourself a 20-pound propane tank. You can buy them at the gas station. And get yourself a Mr. Heater portable buddy. That would get you, I think, 50 hours or something of heat. It's not a lot, and that's on low. If you're on high, I think you get 20 hours. Don't quote me on it. It's been a long time since I owned one, but you could have some backup heat that way. Then what is it that I need? You got to have water, and our water froze up, for example. But I have a backup system. My well, I can just pour water right from the well into buckets, and that's what we did. So I mean, we got plenty of water, unlimited amount of water. And then refrigeration. Well, on cold days like this, refrigeration is not an issue. Just take your food outside. Keep it so the animals can't get into it. Generator. A lot of people say, okay, get a generator and then you just power everything off the generator. And yeah, that's a way to do it, but it uses so much gas. You don't hear my generator running right now. Of course, I have solar panels, but I charged batteries. And so I charged my batteries for 4 hours, and then I got electric for the rest of the day off the batteries. And the way you do batteries is, like I said, you charge the batteries one way or another, and then you take an inverter. You can go to Walmart and buy an inverter, a DC to AC inverter. Go on Amazon and get a inverter there, 1,000-watt inverter. And then you can plug your refrigerator into it and a couple of appliances, you know, small appliances. If you have a phone, you have internet through your phone, so you got some communication things. I'm not telling you to go overkill on prepping. I'm telling you, just have enough so you can survive a few days through these stupid times that we're having. So I hope I can encourage you to live free like me, so you don't have to rely on other people to take care of you. Thanks for watching.